Coming up next on Thoroughbred Ticket, I will handicap the Grade 1 $1 million TVG Pacific Classic to be run at the classic distance of 1.25 miles, as well as the $300,000 added Grade 2 Del Mar Mile to be run at, well, you guessed it, a flat mile on the Jimmy Durante turf course. All that coming up and more next on Thoroughbred Ticket.
Welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket, into the world of thoroughbred horse racing, into a world of inside information and handicapping style geared towards making a winning day at the races worldly possible. And now, here's your host of Thoroughbred Ticket, Mr. Kenneth Anthony Moultrie.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket, and I am your host, Kenneth Moultrie, here on this Friday, August 20th, 2021, a day before the Pacific Classic, a day before the Alabama at Saratoga, and a week before I am to get on a jet plane. Actually, it's going to be in the middle of the week where I will be at Saratoga for the Travers for like the 21st time in the last 24 years, including last year, 2020, the COVID year. So that is turned into a great tradition for me. So there will be no Thoroughbred Ticket next week, no handicapping sessions there, because I will be enjoying myself in the Empire State. I will be at Ciro's. I will be at the Horseshoe. I will be downtown at Old Bob Bryant's. I will be eating and having a good time in upstate New York. So nevertheless, like I said, I am going to handicap here today the Pacific Classic and the Del Mar Mile. So I'm going to also throw in a pick 5 on another broadcast, which I'll probably do or produce in the next hour from now. So there'll be a late pick 5 at Del Mar, and I'll get to a Saratoga late pick 5 as well, since it does look like the track will be fast at Saratoga tomorrow as well. I don't think the turf course will be firm. I know it was yielding today. The turf course obviously takes longer to dry. There's always a chance of some overnight showers at Saratoga, so who knows. But at the very best, I believe the turf course at Saratoga will be good. But so I will actually attempt to offer a late pick 5 for you all on another episode that, like I said, I will produce later tonight. At Del Mar, like usual, fast and firm. Although, believe it or not, there was some showers in the San Diego area on, I think it was Sunday night or Monday, or like some light showers, light rain. But, that's not going to stop Del Mar. It's just a passer through. It's on that water and, that marine layer and whatnot. So, yeah, they got some unexpected precipitation coming down. But like I said, the races, they were off Saturday, Monday and Tuesday. So, about time Thursday came and rolled around, and today they're back to the usual at Del Mar, fast and firm. Okay, so I'm going to get right to it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start with the Pacific Classic. It's going to be run as race 10 tomorrow, and it's 1.25 miles. Del Mar signature race, been around since 1991. 9 are signed up. And I'm going to just cover, like I said, I'm going to cover the field. I'm not going to be too long, but I'm just going to cover some important measures that I handicap and that I'm going to take into the Pacific Classic. Now, I am going to start off with the meat of this handicapping race here, and that is the horse I like on top. I'm not going to save it for the end. I'm going straight for the top. And the horse that's going to win the Pacific Classic tomorrow is the number 5 Express Train. Now, it's kind of interesting that I endorsed this colt on my last show that I did on San Diego Handicap Day down at Del Mar. I actually was there in person. I had a nice little score on this colt, although he didn't pay that much. He was 5-2, a high 5-2. But I endorsed him, like I said, on the show, and I made a nice little return with him. And I saw how hard he ran. And Tripoli took him right down to the wire. Tripoli is in this race as well. And I said, wow, if this colt is going to come back for the Pacific Classic, that's a hard race because Tripoli did pass him, although the racing form data does not show that. Tripoli did pass him. I was sitting near the wire, and Express Train came back on again. So I really thought Express Train was spent. I thought he was lucky to win as the race was over. I thought he'd win easier than that before. And having seen that race, I said, wow, he's not going to be in a good pick for the Pacific Classic. But, however, as I see his 3 works since the Pacific Classic, actually he has 4 works since the Pacific Classic, but 3 of note. They're all 6 furlong works. And I don't think I've ever seen this, or I haven't seen this in a long time. But a 112.3, a 113 flat, and a 112.1, all at Del Mar, all 6 furlong works. That tells me it didn't take as much out of Express Train as I thought. Now, 6 furlongs and a 1.25 miles is a big difference. But trainer John Shirreffs put these works, these are kind of like long works these days because so many horses these days are working just 4 and 5 furlongs. When you're seeing 3 6 furlong works right before a big race, this tells you that this runner is on top of his game and he's feeling really, really good. So I'm glad I was able to look at the form to see this, because if I did not see the form and I was just going off the visual from the San Diego handicap, I would have said no. I would have taken the 4 Royal Ship, because Royal Ship seemed like he didn't exert a lot of energy. He got into a little trouble, but nevertheless, Express Train is my choice. Juan Hernandez will ride back. Express Train is 3 for 4 at Del Mar with 1 second. So loves the track, as I endorsed him before the San Diego when he was 2 for 4. Now he's 3 for 4. Good post position, the 5 hole. I'm looking at when he ran in a 1.25 miles in the Gold Cup. He ran against Royal Ship as well. He was well bet and finished 4 lengths back. There was only 7 runners in the race, so that's not a good barometer. In the big cap at Santa Anita, he got a 102 buyer, and he just missed by a half length to Idol. So he can get the distance. That's not an issue. He's 10 for 12 in the money, 4 for 12 lifetime. So I think, like I say, John Shirreffs has always been a very, very crafty trainer, one of the most craftiest on the Southern California circuit. So the 5 Express Train is my top choice in the Grade 1 Pacific Classic to be run tomorrow. Now that I've given you my top choice, I'm going to go now in post position order and give you a little rundown of some other runners in here, because I do like other runners in the race. I'm not going to single Express Train on my pick 4 or pick 5, but I will put a nice win amount on him. And as I've said before in my other broadcasts, I listen to, like I say, I watch, Saratoga live every day, and I listen to commentators talk about how they handicap a horse or a race, and they expect a particular price, but then when the betting starts or the betting gets toward the end, towards post time, they don't like the horse anymore. And I scratch my head, ladies and gentlemen, about that, because how can you handicap a horse, and let's say you expect 4-1 from the horse, and he ends up 5-2? How you're handicapping him or her for winning the race? You're not handicapping for the odds. So when I handicap, I don't pay attention to odds. I just look at the running lines and I compare all the data that I like to compare against the other runners in the race. And then whatever the odds are, is I'm going to still stick with that runner. Now, do I, in my head, in my, spinning wheel in my brain? Do I expect certain prices from horses? Absolutely, because I've been playing the game for a long time, just like everyone else. But it's not going to deter me from liking my horse. So what I'm trying to convey to you all is that if I have a runner who I think should be 4-1, and the bettings, he's 5-2. Now I'm not talking about as they step on the track or in the paddock, because we know those odds can change drastically, even at a big meet like Del Mar or Saratoga. But I'm talking about 1 minute, 2 minutes to post. They're walking to the gate, and I'm expecting 4-1, and I'm looking up there 5-2. Well, I'm going to make that horse 4-1. I'm going to add an extra. If I'm playing him to win, if I was going to put, say, $20 to win on him, and I'm thinking 4-1, and, he's 5-2, then I may put 30 or 35, or maybe even double the bet. I may even like him more. So I'm not going to shy away from a runner who do not live up to the odds that I expect, because then you're playing odds. We're supposed to be playing horses, not odds. So, if a runner is a certain price, and let's say he's 3-5, well, then guess what? Then you need to play some horizontal bets, right? And you need to put him, maybe single him in a pick 3 or something like that, and then increase your pick 3 bet from $1, $2, $3 to $5. Make that horse, if you are able to, make that runner the odds that you expect him to be if he is bet down by the public. So I just wanted to say that. And like I said, it just baffles me how people say, I like him, but not at 5-2. Well, that doesn't make sense to me. You like him. What does 5-2 got to do with it? Just gives you an indication of what everyone else is betting. Make the horse 4-1. That's all I'm saying. So like I said, that's how I look at it. And that's what I did with Express Train last week. But nevertheless, I just wanted to throw that in there. So I want to go ahead and start off with the one horse, Triple Lee, who came out of that San Diego with Express Train, just missed by half a length. Like I said, I was there in person. I really, really thought and believed that Triple Lee passed Express Train, maybe with about 75 yards to go to the wire, and Express Train came back. But nevertheless, Triple Lee took a big rise in class last time. That's why his odds was 9-1, because this is coming out of optional claimers and high level allowance races, and got a 100 buyer because he ran behind Express Train, came from the outside post, the 8 hole, so he ran a very, very big race, probably ran farther than Express Train. John Sadler starting to heat up at Del Mar. I know he wants to win a race like this. Tiago Pereira is really, really cold. Racing form stats show he's 1-for-56. However, I look at horses who step up in class last race. Let's say, for instance, a big step up to the Grade 2 San Diego, coming from, high level allowance races, and they run lights out, right? So I don't necessarily come back with that particular horse, because something tells me that big rise in class was, the stars aligned for Triple Lee that day. Now, he actually has a better post. He can save a lot of ground today. He may not go wide. He may not go 3-4 deep. But I am going to pass on Triple Lee today. He's had some very, very outstanding work since that San Diego. A 58-2, 1 minute flat, and a 1 minute 12 for 6 furlongs. So, he's feeling himself as well as Express Train. But I just think Triple Lee, when it's coming for the big money in the $1 Million Pacific Classic, I think the cream is going to rise to the top, and I think it's going to show that Triple Lee is going to be over his head. So, nevertheless, I do think Triple Lee will be able to drop down in class after this race back at Santa Anita, where he performed well, and even to the turf, because he is a colt by Kitten's Joy. So obviously that screams turf. So, he's done a lot of good work on the turf. Sadler, has some options with him, and it's, Pacific Classic is, we have 9 runners. So, it's nothing wrong with taking a chance. He could get a piece. I don't think that he will be anywhere considered to the win. But like I said, good chance for Triple